Hey everybody, welcome to the second part of modeling this family crest carving. So, in the first part we went over how to make the shield and how to make the actual book that's standing on top of it. Now, I want to go ahead and I'm going to select both of these and I'm going to hide them. Now, I want to approach this flower decoration and this crest. How would we go and model something like this? Well, to be honest, this is more or less one of the easier parts of this model. And the flower one is quite simple. All you gotta do is, first of all, for the center part, simply make a small sphere. You don't need so many segments. We can get away with 16, I guess. Even more, 12. Yeah, 12 should work. All right. I'm going to select and edit poly, chop off the back part because I really don't need it. So just need the front part. All right. So now we have some leaves over here. Leaves are pretty easy to make. All you have to do is make a plane like this. Right click, convert to an editable poly. Drop in one edge over here, and now all we have to do is just put all the edges in the right place so you get that shape of the leaf. Now, since you have something like this, the interesting part about these leaves is that they actually have an inner indentation or something like a hole in the middle. Now, that is an easy thing to get. All you have to do is, let me just hide this for a second, get the cut tool and simply cut out the hole. Let's get it to about here. Another one on this side. So this is basically just cutting with the cut tool. All right. So once I actually did this, I'm going to go ahead and cut one more time over here. And now I can simply select this edge, pull it inwards, and that is going to give me that indentation over there. All right, now put in one more connect over there to help me better define this shape of the flower like this. Okay, and actually, if I just noticed, but I think these leaves are a bit, when they come to the edge, I think judging by the way the light is falling on top of them, they have a bit of a rounded edge. So let's try and get that as well. To be honest, I didn't see it the first time I did this, so it's not a biggie. But it would be interesting so you guys learn another way that you can do something like this. So again, with the cut, just gonna go around like this. Now get it to about here and here. We don't want to get any end-ons, so that's why we're cutting across. So like this. And now when I select okay, move it inwards a bit. Yeah, this should help. All right, now with the border selected, hold on Shift once and one more time. Now when I put on a turbo smooth on top of this, it's gonna give me this leaf-like structure. And if I want to get this sharp thing at the top, all I have to do is, with my cut one more time, I'm going to cut from the base till about here. So it's going to help me pinch the top of it. Alright, something like this with the turbo smooth. And there we go. We have that leaf geometry over here. Now I want to go ahead and get all of this a bit more on the inside so it gives us off a more rounded look. Let's see how this thing's going to look. Alright, this is better. Okay. Alright, so we have this. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to take my hierarchy, the pivot, and I'm going to take the pivot and move it more or less in the center of our sphere. Now I can do it with the align tool, but it really doesn't matter. I'm gonna go ahead, hold on shift, rotate this on the side until it gets till about here. Okay, one more time, hold on shift, rotate, copy, okay, shift, hold on with the rotate, make another copy, and make another one. Now the thing with when you're working with actual wood carving is that if this is an artisan work, not all of those pieces are going to be the same size or mechanically correct, because when you're working on an actual wood, you get some leniency or some places where you can make a small, I don't want to call it a mistake because it's not a mistake, but you have some wiggling space. So not all of these leaves are going to be exactly the same. As you, if you take a look at the image, you can see that they are actually different, but just for this, I actually use the same leaf and I just copied it around. Now the second thing is that I can see here is that we have a few more leaves that coming in between these leaves over here. So I have to make one more, something like this. Invert enable poly, Swift loop, one in the middle, one there. All right, let's go something like this. Get these closer. Now I want to get this guy outwards a bit, so it's gonna give us some thickness or some bump to this, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and chamfer this guy like this. Okay, I'll shift one more time. And a turbo smooth, and just simply move it behind the leaves, something like this, so it's just in there to cover this place like this. All right, again, hierarchy, move pivot just in the center like this, and now with the rotate, put it into position. Let's try with simple 4. But you see, it doesn't work like that. We're gonna have to do it manually. Once, twice. This time I'm gonna have to push it inwards like this. Okay. And one more copy. Okay, with this we have our flower. All right. Okay, now since we already have the flower done, let's move on to our second part. All right, for this one, I'm actually going to start this time around with a plane. So I'm just going to make one small plane over here. make it so it's 1 by 1. Convert it to an editable poly. So right click, convert to an editable poly. And now I just want to position this more or less to follow this shape we have over here. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and move some vertices around so I can get the base of this shape. And if you take a look at this shape, we can see that in here we have a middle part, but we're going to try and encompass that as soon as we have the general shape. So just shift drag outwards. Just get this. Just Alt X so I can see it through. Again, move it outwards. I just want to get this entire shape happening here. I'm trying to get that the polygon distribution is more uniformly, but when you have a shape like this, well, you basically have to have some bigger polygons. All right. Again, till about here. And one more time, till about here. Now the thing you need to understand is because this is actual wood carving, we can get away from with the fact that we don't have to make this an entire piece, because from what I can see, it should look like it's one piece, but seeing as how it's covered by this middle part, we can get away from making it from 3 different pieces. All right, so we have the general shape of this. We now just need to get this ridge in the middle. The easy way would be with the cut tool. You simply go ahead like this and give it that look. All right, now what we can do here is select all of these vertices except the ones on the ends like this. So deselect those, and with these simply just move them outwards so we get that shape happening. There you go. Now select the outer border, hold down shift, pull once, twice, and now if we put a turbo smooth, we're gonna see that this thing in the middle, the one that we put in the middle, it's supposed to give us a more sharper look or a more sharper definition. It's not happening due to the fact that we don't have a support edge for it. So what we have to do is select that entire loop. So you can just select once, double click, and it should select the entire loop. If it doesn't, simply select one of them and click on the loop button. Here, just chamfer, put in some value of, I don't know, 1 should work. Now, depending on how sharp we want that transition to be, we can either use 1 or 2 edges. With 2, we should get a more pinched look with the turbo smooth, something like this. And I think this is more towards what we want to achieve. All right, so before I just continue, I want to go ahead and delete these faces, basically because they're gonna be hidden behind that wooden part in the front, so we don't have to add it. There we go. I have a more sharper and more well-defined piece. Now I can just use the mirror option, make it a copy, and use the same piece on the other side as well. So we have this happening. All right, so we have these. We just need to make this middle part. So plane it. Again, just go ahead up to the top. Give it some, I'll make it an editable poly. Give it some edges, so we have something like this. And simply move it into place. You'll have to excuse my notifications from my tablet. I kind of forgot to turn it off, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. All right. Okay, we can go with something like this. It should work. And just move it aside so I can see what I'm doing better. Awesome. Okay, so in the middle here, I can see that I have indentation, or this ridge in the middle. So the easiest way to do it is simply by using the cut tool. I can go ahead and cut in the geometry that I need for the whole wall. So for now, I'm going to cut in like this. I'm going to press 1 so I can select the vertices. Now select these, right click, connect. Select these two, right click, connect. That way now I have all quads. Awesome. All right, now select both of these. So this vertex and this one, move it inwards so it gives us that inward fold. With the border, pull once and twice, so we have that depth. Now, before we add the turbo smooth, I just want to add a few more cuts on the top so it can hold this edge sharp. So one from the side to the middle, other side, and to the end. So this is going to help us keep that sharpness of the edge. Now, another thing that I would probably have to do is add one more edge, more or less over here. There you go. So we have that whole ring selected. Go connect and try to slide it. Now, in case, sometimes it's possible that when you do this and you slide it, one of the sides is going to go to the middle, the other one might want to go to the edge. This is not the case, but in case you have something like that, the easiest way to do it would be to use two segments, then pinch them away from each other, something like this, and the one that you do not want, for example, let's say we don't want to keep this one, I can just double click on that one, control backspace and delete it. But in this case, I might actually want to keep this one as well, because it might help me keep that shape going. But we'll see as soon as I put on the turbo mode. Let me see how it would look. Yeah, it actually looks decent. I'm pretty sure that if you spend a bit more time trying to define this shape in the middle, you can get an even better effect. Let me just try and add, whoops. All right. Nope. Let's see if we add two more. So to connect. Let's see how this thing is going to look like now. Yeah, much more defined. Not sure if this is the way I want to do it, but still, it can work. All right, so again, the bottom part, really not needed. So I can just go ahead, angle 45, delete, and this can help me keep my shape. For now, I'm going to leave it like this, as it's not a big problem. All right, get these more to the edge, and there we go. Okay, now move this to the side, this one as well. Let's just make a few modifications so this bottom part is not leaning in like this. There you go. Turbo smooth. Awesome, we get this. Now for the bottom part, I can either go and do the same thing, or in this case I can try and basically use what I have here. I just 180 degrees copy, move it downwards like here, and simply just scale it in. Let's see if this is going to work. Might have to make it a bit tighter, but I think it's going to work. Yeah, this is going to work. All right, now what we have to do is just put in a few more pieces here and this one in the middle. Again, for this one, it's gonna be with a plane again. I don't want to use the same color. All right, so simple. Edible poly. I know this can be a bit tedious and it might take some time, but in reality, whenever you are stuck with modeling something like this, it's inevitable. It's going to take you time. So this is why when it comes down to modeling stuff like this, I always try to, well, get away from it if I can. But sometimes you simply have to do it. And when you have to do it, you just need to know that it's going to take time and you need to be prepared for it. All right, so again, it's a very simple shape. Delete the top part. And now, since I have this ridge over here, again, I'm going to do the same thing. This time around, I'm going to chamfer it with just one. And now that we add a turbo smooth, it's going to have that nice looking ridge there. Let's just try and get this to be more to the shape. The thing is that now, since I'm actually recording this video, I have to be less mindful to details because I want to get this done in as short as time possible. But when you're doing it, simply just give it a bit more time to get the result that you want. There we go, we have this. So now the only thing that's left is the middle part, and that middle part can be easily recreated by simply using a box, something like this. Put it into position. Give it some more thickness. Oops. Not the width, not the length, the height. It's always one of those. Okay. So since we have this, all I gotta do is convert to an edible poly, connect with two segments and a pinch that would define where exactly the middle part would be. Select the middle part, extrude outwards, change it from a group to a local normal, give it some thickness, let's say 5. Click OK. Now if I put a turbo smooth on it right now, we're gonna get something like this, which might be what you want, or it might not. But I'm gonna try and do it like this so it has more thickness. Let's see now. Yeah, this can work. If you need to get a more defined shape for the box, then all you have to do is drop in, put a few extra edges there and there. And let's see how this thing is going to react. Awesome. We have this effect going on, which is more or less what we want. If I want to get it to a more box-like look, I can simply go down here and add a few more ridges there and there to the sides. And there we go. Okay, move this up a bit. And with this, we basically have our second piece of geometry for the book.